Next question is for Michael Ballard. What's your message to voters regarding Social Security?
I know that every election cycle, whether it's 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, the Socialist Party likes to talk about how the evil Republicans want to throw grandma off the cliff and take away your Social Security. I would just like to take a few seconds to remind people that there has only been 3 times in the history of Social Security that participants that received their Social Security did not receive a cost of living increase. It wasn't done by Republicans. It was done by the late president, the last president, Obama. So I'm all for fixing Social Security because it's on its way of being broke. One of the reasons why it's broke is we got people that receives benefits from Social Security that are not even American citizens. Only American citizens should be receiving not just Social Security, but any other type of food stamp or any other deal that we've got going on. And if we would kick the people off that are not American citizens, that Social Security would last a few more years longer than it's on its way now.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Next is Miles Rahimi.
Thanks, Josh. You know, it's just incredible. I'm 30 years old, and it seems to me that the Congressional Budget Office says we're going to see Social Security defunct by 2034. That's my future lifetime that I'm not going to see Social Security. As it stands now, we have foreign workers here on visa programs that will spend a decade or two here not paying FICA taxes, not paying into these systems. And so we need to refocus and realign with America and Americans first. Is possible solution is everyone my age and underneath is we're allowed to diversify and we don't have to pay into this program that is substantially broken. I don't want to touch it for anyone older than my age, but we need a better option because it's my generation that's going to be facing the financial Armageddon of a football, so to speak, that's being punted to us by legislators legislating policy. They won't be around for the consequences.
Thank you, Miles. Next is Charles Pringle.
Our Social Security should be put in a lockbox and they can't touch it. Bill Clinton, he started this back in the 90s. This was their thing. We're going to put Social Security in a lockbox. Well, I don't know where that lockbox went, but they never put it anywhere. They just keep using it. And I want to disagree a little bit with Michael. If you have paid into the Social Security system, I don't care if you live here or live in Mexico, but that is an insurance payment that we pay into it, and they should be able to draw it. Now, I want to say this. Going back to Social Security, the Democrats, through Roe v. Wade, have killed over 500 million, I don't know, it's millions or thousands, babies through Planned Parenthood that they can't tax anymore. And we need to just put our Social Security in a lockbox. It's an insurance, and let's keep it there, not let the government get their filthy hands on it.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Michael, would you like to respond to that, or would you like us to move on to the next person?
Sure, I'll respond just a few seconds. I didn't say American citizens that paid into the system should not receive their benefits. I said illegals that shouldn't be here to begin with. I don't care what country they're from. If they shouldn't be here, they shouldn't be receiving benefits.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Next up to answer the question is Jake Merrick, and I'll repeat the question. What's your message to voters regarding Social Security?
Well, it's twofold. First, we have to secure the Social Security for the seniors, and they need to be ensured that what they have invested, they will not lose. So in our efforts to reform it, then we need to ensure and provide them with that security that they will get all of the Social Security benefits that they have invested. And second phase, though, is we have to agree, and I think we all agree that it is broken, and we need to implement something quickly for the next generation. And I believe I have a plan laid out here that is called the Entitlement Reform Act. And if we take the total amount that we spend in Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and the Department of Education, that totals about $600 a month that individuals would receive. Now, if we take that $600, and I'll go through this real quickly, and it's invested in a secure, restricted account, we are able to take out $50 from the beginning at birth and allow that to accrue interest at about 7%. And by the time they retire, they have secured money for retirement. You take another $50, do the same thing at the same interest rate, and it accumulates. And now they have funds set aside for geriatric care. Now that's going to leave you with $500. You can take $300 of that, invest it in the same type of account, earning the same interest. By 18 years old, they have money accrued for college education or for tech schools. You have the remaining $200. And if it's invested the same amount, it would begin to accrue interest and grow. And then you have money set aside for juvenile health care. And I know I won't go into all the details because we're short on time. But this is an example of something that we could do radically different, make a radical shift, and ensure benefits for our future generations.
Okay, thank you, Jake. Next up is Shelli Landon.
Thoroughly agree with Jake. Each point that he made, I would totally agree with. I think one of the things that we need to re-examine is welfare and the waste of money to the extreme of what that has done, entitling people not to live prosperous lives and not to take entire families and turn them around in the right direction of employment, education, the expectation that they should prosper. I think that we should have anybody that is on welfare constantly under surveillance system of whether they are progressing in a health position or anything that has hindered them from employment. And then the goal should be to rehabilitate them, to educate them, to get them employed, and not to take them completely off of welfare if they're not capable of being fully employed, but to have something progressive that works. And then to teach them how to make investments. The same thing with Social Security. The Reduction of Paperwork Act should be employed in the Social Security system. It needs a severe investigation and audit as to how it is handling all kinds of cases. When I first became a decorated widow's, a widow of a veteran, of a decorated veteran, I was in a health crisis at the time. The paperwork came back where I should have received some benefit at that moment for not being ill at all. It took over half a decade to get them to straighten it out. And one of the social security workers said, they hope people like you just die. And they are not ever going to process something the first time around. And I said, well, what about the Reduction of Paperwork Act? Then as I began to talk to people in Oklahoma about this in several different offices of Social Security, I found out someone had actually creatively put together an initiative to hire our veterans. I've got a bill on my website to help the homeless vets. Many of them are suffering because they cannot come back and adjust to life as they should. They need psychological care. But there are programs where we can take people in one problem, teach them how to invest, and employ them in areas where this could eliminate some of the overage of what we're experiencing in the problems with Social Security.
Okay, thank you, Shelli. Next up is David Hill.
My message to our fine recipients of Social Security, our senior citizens, is very, very simple. Your Social Security should be protected and it should be safe. The federal government made a promise to you that you paid into for a lifetime. You worked hard and you saw those amounts taken out of your paycheck, every single paycheck. Those amounts went out for Social Security. And for our Congress to dip into that, to steal that, to reduce that is just plain wrong. So as your congressman, I will work hard to not only protect and secure your Social Security, but we should increase it. It's gotten considerably more expensive to live. The cost of living has gone up. I have had the privilege of taking care of our Nana, and she died at 102 a year ago, February. And it was wonderful to take care of her. And I saw those Social Security checks come in. Our senior citizens, our Social Security recipients need that. They paid into that, and I'll fight to keep it secure and increase it.
Thank you, David, and sorry for your loss. Next up is Janet Barresi.
You know, our Social Security system is one that made promises to senior citizens. And those are the individuals that have paid into this system their entire life. They are entitled to these benefits, and they should be allowed to keep these benefits and depend on them. I believe they need to have a consistent cost of living increases on this, so it will help them with all of their monthly expenses. Social Security checks sometimes are not what they need to be, so we need to consistently add to their cost of living. But for those that are the age of my children that are paying into Social Security to maintain it for seniors, they have zero expectations, though, that they will have those same benefits for themselves. So I advocate for maintaining Social Security for all seniors, really past a fairly young age, so they can have the full benefit of that. But for younger individuals, we need to look at free markets and free market solutions, including with a little bit of government involvement, but free markets where we can have competition. And we should incentivize individuals to contribute to those retirement accounts. But this is one where we must leave Social Security alone for seniors. We have to defend it. And as your Congresswoman, it's a complex issue. If I am blessed to be able to take that position, I'm going to fight for seniors, for their rights, and for their cost of living increases.